Today's top stories at NBR: no change to the official cash rate. The fight to have Uber drivers considered employees rather than independent contractors back to court again. New Zealanders have a more positive outlook around personal wealth. And there's more coming right up. Kia ora and welcome to NBR Today, a wrap of the day's top business stories from the authority in New Zealand business news since 1970, nbr.co.nz. It's Wednesday, July 14th. I'm Paul Brennan. Thanks so much for joining us. The near $200 million acquisition of telematics software company Cortex by transport logistics company eRoad is seen as a boost for both companies. Cortex CEO Selwyn Pellett told NBR there isn't a better place we can put our technology into than eRoad. There's not a better place we can put our shareholders into than eRoad. And there's not a better place we can put our employees into than eRoad. Cortex delivers compliance and fleet management solutions to more than 60,000 connected vehicles in the construction, mixed fleet and waste and recycling industries. It has offices on either side of the Tasman and in North America. eRoad will pay $157.7 million upfront and $30.6 million more in financial year 2023, provided Cortex meets certain performance milestones. The Reserve Bank has made no change to its official cash rate of 0.25%, but is reducing its quantitative easing program, citing expectations of rising inflation pressures. Bank Governor Adrian Orr said the bank will halt its additional asset purchases under the large-scale asset purchase program by July 23, but will keep its funding for lending program unchanged. The bank has spent close to $53 billion under the LSAP and had the potential to spend $100 billion by June next year. Releasing the bank's July monetary policy review, Orr said recent data indicated the economy remained robust despite the ongoing impact from international border restrictions. The fight to have Uber drivers considered employees rather than independent contractors is set to be heard in the Employment Court a second time after a similar case in December 2020 failed to change the driver's classification. The unions are in the process of filing the proceedings with the court, although a backlog of cases will mean the case is likely not heard for some months. Strategic Project Coordinator for First Union, Anita Rosentretter, said First and Etu will take the case on behalf of all drivers, as opposed to a group of plaintiffs that are named, as in a typical class action. But there will be drivers giving evidence. Hawke's Bay and Marlborough winemaker Sacred Hill owes creditors over $98 million, according to a first report from receivers. Sacred Hill was incorporated in 1999 and operates a well-known vineyard, winery, processing and distribution business in the Hawke's Bay. The Sacred Hill group of companies were put into receivership in May. The portfolio of brands includes the namesake Sacred Hill, Whitecliff, Gun Estate and Tea Point. The total owed, as at May 6, worked out to $98.6 million, although some claims from unsecured creditors are yet to be received. Third time is a charm for delighted ASX-listed coal miner Bathurst Resources in its legal duel with Belize-registered L&M Coal Holdings over non-payments relating to coal production from its escarpment mine on New Zealand's west coast. Bathurst has emerged victorious in the Supreme Court after defeats in the High Court and Court of Appeal. At issue for the last 5 years has been the perennial problem of interpreting the words written in the parties' June 2010 sale and purchase agreement and whether evidence outside those words could be admitted to help the court in its task. The court was unanimous that the first of two $40 million performance payments was triggered after former NZX-listed Bathurst transported more than 25,000 tonnes of coal as required under the contract. But in a 3-2 split decision, the court found Bathurst was allowed to delay paying the first $40 million, even though it had stopped mining, provided it kept paying royalties to L&M as it had agreed to. New Zealanders have a more positive outlook around personal wealth compared with their broadly negative perception following last year's lockdowns. Kiwi Wealth's third annual State of the Investor Nation report shows. The report found 1 in 4 Kiwis feel wealthier than they did a year ago, and 70% feel confident about the economy, up 9 percentage points from 2020. At the other end of the spectrum, those who reported they were struggling to make ends meet decreased to 4% of the population. The confidence is mostly about New Zealand's economy, with just just over half the respondents, 53%, saying they were confident in global financial markets. However, this is still a 12 percentage point improvement on the numbers from June 2020, when a special edition of the report was done to examine immediate post-lockdown effects. One of the key takeaways from the report is that money brings happiness. Those who had enough money to do all the things I want were 3 times as happy as those struggling to make ends meet. The full details of those stories and more are at nbr.co.nz right now. Tomorrow at NBR, in this week's politics column, Brent Edwards asks whether National should lead the debate rather than demand it, while NBR reveals the top 10 companies who have repaid at least part of the wage subsidy at the ministry's request. I'm Paul Brennan. I look forward to being with you again tomorrow around lunchtime for the morning's NBR trending stories. Then same time, same place, right here again from 5:30 tomorrow for another NBR Today.